Good day to all, my dear friends. Today we are going to learn the first lesson of our textbook named Roots. The first chapter is all about a dog. It's a very interesting story. I suppose you have already read through the story. The story is all about a young woman who is carrying her little puppy boarded to bus.
It was a bitterly cold night, and even at the far end of the bus, the east wind that raved along the street cut like a knife. The bus stopped, and two women and a man got in together and filled the vacant places. One young woman was dressed in sealskin and carried one of those little apekines dogs that women in sealskin like to carry in their laps. The conductor came in and took the fares. Then his eyes rested with cold malice on the beady-eyed dog. I saw trouble brewing. This was the opportunity for which he had been waiting, and he intended to make the most of it. I had marked him as the type of what Mr. Wells had called the resentful employee, the man with a general vague grievance against everything and a particular grievance against passengers who came and sat in his bus while he shivered at the door.
And then what happens? When she boarded the bus, the conductor notices her with a little puppy, and the bus conductor is creating a great deal of confusion, trying to implement a rule. This is in just the story. Now let's see in detail what happens. How many of you have travelled in a double-decker bus? I suppose at least a few of you must have travelled in a double-decker bus. It was a very bitterly cold night, and even at the far end of the bus, the east wind that raved along the street cut like a knife. It means to say that it's a very cold night. The bus stopped, and two women and a man got in together and filled the vacant places. Of course, as it happens to us too. When the bus stops, immediately we jump in and try to see if there is any vacant seats around, and we make sure that we have a seat. Yes, this happens here too. Here, as soon as the bus stopped, two women and a man got in together and made sure that they got a place, a seat. Along with them, the subject of our story, the lady is sitting down with her little puppy. The conductor came in and took the fares. Imagine a conductor coming and getting money from you and issuing a ticket. While he was collecting the money and giving the tickets, his eyes suddenly looked towards the little puppy with a very cold malice. The conductor was very angry seeing the lady with the little puppy in the bus. Trouble was brewing around. Yes, she was heading for trouble.
"You must take that dog out," he said with sour venom.
"I shall certainly do nothing of the kind. You can take my name and address,"
said the woman, who had evidently expected the challenge and knew the reply. "You must take that dog out. That's my order,"
I won't go on the top in such weather. It would kill me.
said the woman.
Certainly not.
Said her lady companion.
You've got a cough as it is.
"It's nonsense," said her male companion. The conductor pulled the bell and the bus stopped. "This bus doesn't go until that dog is brought out," and he stepped on to the pavement and waited. It was his moment of triumph. He had the law on his side and a whole bus full of angry people under the harrow. His embittered soul was having a real holiday. The storm inside rose high.
This was the opportunity for which he had been waiting. Who had been waiting? The conductor. And he intended to make the most of it. I had marked him as a type of what Mr. Wells had called the resentful employee, the man with a general vague grievance against everything, and a particular grievance against passengers who came and sat in his bus while he shivered at the door. Yes, he was acting like a resentful employer. An employer who does the work but without much satisfaction, getting angry with the people, not pleasant enough, not service-minded enough, just doing his duty, that's all. You know, the conductor says, "You must take that dog out," he said with a sour venom. What do you mean by sour venom? With a very poisonous hatred, with angry mood, etc. Okay? So he was very angry and he said, "Take that dog out." "I won't go on top in such weather. It will kill me," said the woman. Yes, the woman said, "Sir, I can't go on top of this bus because it's a very, very cold winter night. And if I go up with my little puppy, it will kill me. The weather will kill me. I can't do that." "Certainly not," said her lady companion. "You have got a cough as it is." Yes. Now her lady companion is supporting her, saying, No, you cannot go because you are having cold, you are having cough. What happens?" Another lady said, "It's nonsense. It's nonsense that the conductor is asking me to do this." Yes. Now the conductor gets into action. He pulls the bell and the bus stops. He pulls the bell and the bus stops. Yes. The first episode of the story is over. Yes. Now let's see what happens next. He said, "The bus doesn't go until that dog is brought out." And he stepped onto the pavement and waited. The conductor stopped the bus, got out of the bus and waiting at the pavement just to see that this lady gets on top of the bus, and only then he will make his mind to pursue the journey. Now, he had the law in his side and the whole bus full of angry people under the handle. His embittered soul was having a real holiday. Yes, the people were in real distress. They were troubled, they were worried. But the conductor doesn't mind all this. He was standing at the pavement as though he was enjoying a holiday. He was in a holiday mood. As though he has won a victory. He has won an award. As though he is victorious. He is standing very firm on the pavement.
Shameful. He's no better than a dictator.
Why isn't he in the army?
call the police. Let's all report him. Let's make him give us our fares back.
For everybody was on the side of the lady and the dog. That little animal sat blinking at the dim lights in happy unconsciousness of the rumpus, of which he was the cause. The conductor came to the door. "What's your number?" said one passenger, taking out a pocketbook with a gesture of terrible things. "There's my number," said the conductor imperturbably.
Give us our fares back. You've engaged to carry us. You can't leave us here all night.
"No fares back," said the conductor. 2 or 3 passengers got out and disappeared into the night. The conductor took another turn on the pavement, then went and had a talk with the driver. Another bus, the last on the road, sailed by, indifferent to the shouts of the passengers to stop.
They stick by each other, the villains,
was the comment. Someone pulled the bell violently. That brought the driver round to the door. "Who's conductor of this bus?" he sneered, and paused for a reply. None coming from the passengers, he returned to his seat and resumed drumming a rhythm on the steering wheel. There was no hope in that quarter. A policeman strolled up and looked in at the door. An avalanche of indignant protests and appeals burst on him. "Well, he's got his rules, you know," he said genially. "Give your name and address."
That's what he's been offered, and he won't take it,
said the lady. "Oh," said the policeman, and he went away and took his stand a few yards down the street, where he was joined by 2 more constables. And still the little dog blinked at the lights, and the conductor walked to and fro on the pavement, like a captain on the quarter-deck in the hour of victory. A young woman, whose voice had risen high above the gale inside, descended on him with an air of threatening and slaughter. He was immovable, as cold as the night and as hard as the pavement. She passed on in a fury of impotence to the 3 policemen, who stood like a group of statuary up the street watching the drama. Then she came back, imperiously beckoned to her young man, who had sat a silent witness of her rage, and vanished. Others followed. The bus was emptying. Even the dashing young fellow who had demanded the number, and who had declared he would see this thing through if he sat there all night, had taken an opportunity to slip away.
The storm inside rose high. People are with restless inside the bus. They said, "Shameful, he is not better than a dictator. Why isn't he in the army?" Another person said, "Call the police, let's all report him. Let's make him give us our fares back." For everybody was on the side of the lady and the dog. Yes, people in general were supporting the lady and the dog in the bus. Meanwhile, our little puppy, the little animal, was sitting blinking at the dim lights in happy unconsciousness of the rumps of which he was the cause. It means to say that puppy was not aware of what is happening. He was just blinking the eyes and unconscious of what is happening around. He was just going about happy. And now what happens? The conductor came to the door. "What's your number?" said one passenger, taking out a pocket book with a gesture of terrible things. "There's my number," said the conductor, imperturbably. Imperturbable means without any disturbance, without moving. Calmly, it means with calmness. "There's my number," said the conductor, imperturbably. "Give us our fares back. You are engaged to carry us. You can't leave us here all night." Conductor said, "No fares back. I won't give you the fares back," said the conductor. 2 or 3 passengers got out and disappeared into the night. Yes, it happens. When we travel, when the bus breaks down, what happens? Some people will remain on the bus. Some people will take off their mobile and start chatting with someone. Some people will get out of the bus. Some people will try to help out the conductor and the driver to repair the bus. Some people will disappear into the dark nights. Yes, it happens here also. 2 or 3 passengers got out and disappeared in the night. The conductor took another turn on the pavement and went and had a talk with the driver. Now, the conductor who is standing on the pavements goes to the driver and had a chat with the driver. Meanwhile, what happens? Another bus is passing by. Another bus, the last bus on the road, sailed by indifferent to the shouts of the passengers to stop. The passenger shouted, "Stop, stop, stop, help us. We want to reach our destination. Stop, stop, stop." But the driver of that bus never hears, never listens, just passed by. And the people convince again. They stick by each other, the villains. They stick by each other, the villains. They say, "Oh, all these best people are all the same." They stick by each other. Someone pulled the bell violently. So now the people are getting agitated. People are getting angry with the situation that is happening. So one person goes and pulls the bell. That annoyed the driver. That brought the driver out to the door and asked, "Who is the conductor of this bus?" No reply came from the passenger. He returned to his seat and resumed drumming a rhythm on the steering wheel. So the driver goes back to his seat, the driver's seat, and he is drumming on the wheels. He is drumming on the steering wheels. No reply, no consolation from his side. There was no hope from that quarter. And now comes a policeman. He strolled up and looked in at the door. An avalanche of indignant people. And now comes a policeman to the scene. He comes in and looks through the door and he sees that there's a lot of confusion in the bus. There's a lot of protest and a lot of appeals burst onto him. And the people are quarreling with him, telling, "Sir, please solve this problem out." And the policeman replies, "Well, the conductor has his rules, you know. The conductor is following his rules, you know." And again, the policeman couldn't do much. He was helpless because the policeman thought that the conductor is following a rule that dogs are not allowed in the bus. Puppies are not allowed in the bus. Yes, the conductor is following a rule and he couldn't charge any case against the conductor. He goes and joins with his companions on the street. 2 other policemen. They talk to each other. The policeman, in order to satisfy the protests and appeals of the people, asked them, "Well, give your name and address." "That's what he has been offered and he won't take it," said the lady. Yes, the policeman is asking the name and address of the lady with the little puppy, as though file a case. No, police, when they come in, they ask for certain details. The lady had already offered to the conductor, take my number and name and number and address and post a complaint against me. Yes, she said she had already offered the same to the conductor, but he did not take it. Oh, said the policeman, and he went away and took his stand a few yards down the street, where he was joined by 2 more constables. So the policeman's role is over. He heard the complaints of the people, and now he goes a little far and joins with his companion constables and talking to them. We don't know what he's talking about, his people or something else. And even now, our little puppy, the little dog blinking at the lights, and the conductor walked to and fro on the pavements like a captain on the quarterdeck in the hour of victory. Yes, the little puppy is still not aware of what's happening around. The little puppy is blinking at the lights, seeing people around. Meanwhile, the conductor is walking through the pavements like a captain who, after his victorious battle, marching through the decks. Yes, a young woman whose voice had risen high above the gate inside descended on him with an air of threatening and slaughter. So, while he was marching through the pavements, a young lady descended on him with an air of threatening and slaughter. Air of threatening means but he was immovable, as cold as the night and as hard as the pavement. She passed out in a fury of impotence to the 3 policemen who stood like a group of statuary. She passed on in a fury of importance to the 3 policemen who stood like a group of statuary up the street watching the drama. Their importance means the inability to change things or influence the situation. Important. Not able to do anything in the situation, not able to act on the situation. So that's what happens to the policemen. They are not able to find a solution to the problem. They are standing like people who are watching a drama, inactive. Then she came back, imperiously beckoned to her young man who had sat as silent witness of her rage and vanished. Others followed. Yes, slowly, one by one, the bus was getting emptied and people were vanishing from the scene. Even the dashing young fellow who had demanded the number and who had declared he would see these things through if he sat there all night had taken an opportunity to slip away. Yes, that person who talked very high about, yes, I will show you how I can manage this situation, how I will deal with you. He also slowly slipped out of the bus and slipped into the dark. He slipped away to the dark. He disappeared from the scene. Meanwhile, the Pekingese party were passing through every stage of resistance to abject surrender. Here the Pekingese party means the party who was supporting the lady and the little puppy. Little puppy is of a Pekingese breed. That's why it is said it's a Pekingese party. The lady said, "I'll go on top." The co-passenger said, "No, you mustn't." The lady replied, "I will." And the co-passenger said, "No, you should not go. You will have pneumonia." Another man who was sitting along with her said, "No, you don't have to go up. I will take the dog up." When she had disappeared up the stairs, yes, though her companions the best said you shouldn't go up, she still made up her mind to go up. She still made her mind to go up to the uncovered top of the bus. When she had disappeared up the stairs, the conductor came back as though he made a victory out of it. As though he won the battle. The conductor came back, pulled the bell, and the bus went on. The bus went on. He stood sourly triumphant while his conductor was savagely discussed in his face by the remnant of the party. The conductor was standing as though he has won the victory, triumphant, won the victory. But all the other people were talking about this man's attitude. All the people in the bus, the remnant of people means all the people who remained in the bus. Many people have already disappeared from the scene. They have walked away in the dark. But some people are still remaining in the bus. And they are talking with each other about the attitude of this driver. They are talking to each other about the attitude of this conductor. Now, the bus started moving. As it went on and on, suddenly the bus stopped. What happened? The engine had a trouble. Then the engine stopped work and the conductor went to the help of the driver. You know what happens when the bus breaks down. Here again, the conductor is going to help the driver to fix the problem. There's a long job and presently the lady with the log stole down the stairs. It took a little time to get the bus repaired. Meanwhile, remember it's a very, very cold winter night and the lady is on top of the bus with uncovered top. She couldn't manage that. She came down from there. And the lady with the dog stole down the stairs and re-entered the bus. Meanwhile, the engine was put right. Conductor came back and pulled the bell. Again, his eyes fell on the dog and the lady. "Again you are down here?" said the conductor. His eyes fell on the dog and his hand went to the bell rope again. Again he pulled the bell. "Stop!" The bus stopped. The driver looked around. The conductor pointed to the dog. The bus stopped. And the struggle recommenced with all the original features. The conductor walking the pavements, the driver drumming his fingers, the little dog blinking at the lights, the sealskin lady declaring that she would not go up on the top, and finally going. The entire story repeated again. The conductor pulled the bell. There was a lot of argument. The conductor is asking the lady to go up. The lady says, "No, I won't." There's a lot of discussion in the bus, and at the end, the lady goes up with her little puppy to the uncovered top of the bus. Most of the people got out of the bus, and finally, the conductor, along with the last passenger of the bus, struck a conversation. The conductor said, "I got my rules," as though he had won the victory, as though he wanted to justify himself to someone else. The last passenger said, "Rules. Yes, rules are necessary things, but there are rules and rules. Some are hard and fast rules, like the rules of the road, which cannot be broken without danger to life and limbs." Yes, now the last passenger gives an advice to the conductor. "You know, sir, rules are rules. Yes, rules are very, very necessary. There are hard and fast rules, like rules on the road, which cannot be broken. Yes, those rules are made in order that people don't fall into danger of life and limbs. You know, but there are some rules. Some rules are given for guidance, which you can apply or wing it. You know, some rules, if you really try to put into practice, knowing the meaning of the rule and the spirit of the law, you will be able to help people. Otherwise, you will become a burden for the people around. You know, such rules are for guidance, which can be applied or winged as common sense dictates, like the rules about the dog. Rules are not a whip put in your hand to scourge your passengers with, but an authority for an emergency. The last passenger is advising the conductor. The rules that are given to you are not whips with which you attack or scourge your passengers with, but an authority for emergency. They are meant to be observed in the spirit, not in the letter. So, the last passenger is telling the conductor, yes, these rules must be observed in the spirit, not by letter, not by the letter of the word. The spirit of the law must be observed. You know, some rules must be broken sometimes in order to be helpful for the people. Sometimes we have to get certain rules. We have to bypass certain rules in order to help people. Yes, they are meant to be observed in the spirit, not in the letter, for the comfort and not the discomfort of the passengers. You have kept the rule and broken its spirit. Yes, this is the moral of the story all about. Yes, the passenger is telling, the last passenger is telling, you have kept the law, but you have broken the spirit of the law. You have to mix your good rules with good temper and goodwill. This is a balanced view about keeping the law and asking the people to obey the law. He took it very well, and when I got off the bus, he said, "Good night," quite amiably. Dear friends, in summary, this story is all about a woman getting into the bus with a little puppy and the trouble that she is heading to, and the conversation that she had with the conductor, and it's all about the people who are traveling in the bus, who supports the issue of the lady and the little puppy. And then what happens at the end of the story? At the end of the story, all people leave the bus, and the last passenger and the conductor alone remains. And they struck a conversation with each other. And the conductor, as though he has won the victory, He says, I got my rules in order to justify himself. And now comes the turn of the last passenger. The last passenger said, yes, sir, rules are very necessary. Some are very hard and fast rules which has to be obeyed. But some rules are given for guidance which we can apply or wing it according to the common sense and according to the conscience that dictates. Yes, like the rules about this little dog. What would happen even if this little dog is traveling in the bus? That too in a very cold, dark winter night. You would have closed your eyes and allowed her to travel in the bus. That's what he meant. And the last passenger said, yes, you are following the law, but you have forgotten the spirit of the law. You have neglected the true spirit of the law. Yes, laws are made to be observed in the spirit, not in the letter. Laws are made for the comfort of the people, not for discomforting the people. And as a final advice, the last passenger says, sir, you have to mix your rules with a little goodwill and good temper, and you will do well. Thank you, dear friends, for patient listening. The next class we will come back with the question answers and exercises that is behind the first lesson. Learn the lesson well. I will be giving you certain question answers that you should study. Please come prepared for the online live sessions. See you. Bye.
All about a dog. In what kind of conveyance did the author travel in? The author was traveling in a bus on a cold night. Who were the passengers to get in the bus when it stopped? Two women, among whom one had a dog with her, and a man got into the bus when it stopped on the way. How does a Pekingese dog look? A Pekingese dog is a small dog. It has a small flat face and its body is covered with long soft silky hair. It's a beady-eyed dog. Who filled the vacant seats of the bus? The two women and a man who boarded the bus together filled the vacant seats of the bus. What did the eyes of the bus conductor rest on? The eyes of the bus conductor rested on the small-eyed Pekingese dog which the younger lady had taken with her. How did the lady passenger react when the bus conductor had ordered her to be out with her dog? When the bus conductor asked the young lady passenger to get out with her dog, she replied that she would not follow his instruction. Besides, she had already coughed. What did the lady companion of the younger lady passenger mention? The lady companion of the younger lady passenger with the dog mentioned that the latter had got a cough. Why didn't the lady wish to go on the top of the bus? The lady with the dog did not wish to go on top of the bus as it was a very cold windy night and the cold weather would affect her health. Who supported the lady and her dog? Every sensitive passenger of the bus supported the lady and her dog. What does the little animal refer to? What did it do? Here, the little animal is the lap dog carried by the younger woman. The little animal was unaware of the trouble it had caused, so it sat blinking at the dim lights in the bus. What did the passengers demand? What was the conductor's reply? When the bus conductor appeared from the pavement to the door, some passengers demanded that their fares should be given back. The bus conductor declared unhesitatingly that no fares would be given back to the passengers. Why did 2 or 3 passengers get out of the bus? 2 or 3 passengers did not like the troubled and problematic situation, so they got down from the bus and disappeared into the darkness of the night. Why did 2 or 3 passengers get out of the bus? 2 or 3 passengers did not like the troubled and problematic situation, so they got down from the bus and disappeared into the darkness of the night. Why did the policeman stroll up? The policeman strolled up to look in at the door of the bus to know about what was going on. What did the passengers do seeing the policeman? When the passenger had seen the policeman, they burst into protests. They also blamed the policeman for being onlookers. Who threatened the bus conductor? A woman, one of the troubled passengers in the bus, threatened the bus conductor for his inhuman misbehavior. How did the bus conductor react to the threat of the woman? The bus conductor was indifferent to the threat of the woman passenger. His indifference can be compared to the coolness on a windy night. What was the flaw of the bus conductor to keep the rules? The bus conductor did not mind to the spirit of the rule by adhering to it strictly. This was the flaw of the bus conductor to keep the rule. How did the animal react to the fuss caused by himself? The little animal sat winking at the low lights. He was unconscious of the fuss caused by himself. How was the temperament of the conductor as predicted by the author? According to the author, the conductor was of an irritable temperament. He has a grievance about everything. What opportunity did the conductor seek? The conductor sought the opportunity to show his power to the passengers. Why did the conductor stop the bus by pulling the bell? The conductor stopped the bus by pulling the bell because a younger woman boarded the bus with the little dog, which was against the rules. Which rules should be applied for dogs? Rules with little goodwill and good temper should be applied for dogs. Why was the conductor angry particularly? The conductor was particularly angry with those passengers who came and sat in his bus while he shivered at the door. What was the conductor's order to the woman with the little dog? The conductor ordered the woman to take a dog out of the bus, otherwise she might go to the top with the dog. How was the night during the bus journey of the narrator? The narrator was traveling in a bus at night in winter. The night was bitterly cold. Even at the far end of the bus, the east wind was cutting like a knife. When did the narrator see trouble coming up? When the bus stopped on the way, two women and a man got into the bus. The younger woman had a little dog with her. When the bus conductor came to take fares and noticed the little dog, the narrator saw trouble coming up. How did the narrator mark the bus conductor? The narrator marked the bus conductor as the type of person who had general grievance about everything. He used to wait for an opportunity and he intended to make the most of it. That's my order. Who ordered and to whom? What was the order? The bus conductor ordered the younger woman passenger with a dog. He ordered the lady to take the dog out of the running bus as it was against the rule. How did the lady with the dog react to the order of the bus conductor? The bus conductor pointed out the rule of traveling in a bus and ordered the lady passenger to go out of the running bus with her dog. At this, the lady passenger replied that she would not go on the top of the bus in the extreme cold weather. How did the passengers protest against the bus conductor? The passengers could not support the bus conductor to stop the bus in the middle of their journey in such a way. They wished to call the police to report him against the misconduct of him. They also demanded to give their fares back. When did the passengers burst out with indignant protest and appeals? When the policeman strolled up and looked in out the door of the bus, the passengers burst out with their strong protest and appeals. How did the police react to the protest of the passengers? The policeman paid no heed to the protests and appeals of the passengers. He went away to stand a few yards down the street. There, two more constables joined him. What did a woman passenger do against the bus conductor? The woman passenger raised her voice of protest above the hue and cry of other passengers. She also threatened the bus conductor. She was excited to express her grievance. Now let us listen to the summary and critical perspective of the story. All About a Dog by Gardiner is a story that gives birth to some questions related to our society and social rules and regulations. It was a cold winter night. The passengers were all excited to reach home as early as possible. A young lady carrying a little dog boarded the bus. Immediately, the conductor asked the lady to go up to the uncovered top with the dog. But the other passengers were quite sympathetic towards the lady with the dog, considering the weather. Moreover, the lady was suffering from cough and cold, so they raised no objection to carrying the dog inside the bus. But the bus conductor could not ignore the rule so easily. He compelled the lady to go to the top of the bus on winter night. Initially, the lady was reluctant to do that and persisted on staying inside. She also argued with the conductor, but the conductor was rigid in his decision. So he stopped the bus in the midway, creating trouble to everyone in the bus. Ultimately, the lady had to obey the dictate. Later, when the bus developed some engine trouble, the passengers had to tolerate the delay, but the conductor refused to compromise. All through the journey, the lady had to travel on the top of the bus. At the end, the narrator of the story tried to advise to the conductor that rules should be modified according to the circumstances and should be tempered with goodwill. Rules are formed for comfort but should not cause inconvenience. That is the spirit of the rule. That means in our society, the most needed thing is not the rules and regulations, but its application with humanitarian consideration.